Hello, everyone. My name is Eric Wade. This is a PD about Screencastify. Basically, what we're going to do is kind of go through the how to log in, the basics of the recording screen, the toolbars, how you get it out to students after you're done, and do the editing. The editing and getting it out to students is kind of they're combined together because of the way the screen's kind of set up. But we'll separate them out as much as we can, and then we'll be done with it. So I don't. There will be one thing called submit that we'll have to that I just really won't have time for. I'm trying to keep this under an hour. So at the very end, there'll be a link that takes you to the badge program that Screencastify has, which gets more in depth into some of the things that we're going to do, but also into the idea of the submit piece, which is super cool. We'll talk about it real quick, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time working on it. So just kind of a heads up, I'm recording this with Screencastify, and in order to show some of this stuff, I have to switch between tabs and then actually between browser windows. So there'll be some weird little transitions in between here. I'll try to edit them out, but I probably won't get to all of them. So without further ado, let's get started. So let's start with Screencastify. Like I said, we're going to set up our account real quick, record a video, and we'll edit and share. We'll kind of be combined together. It is important that you, in fact, it's impossible not to sign up without a Gmail account. So if your school is a Google school, then you'll be all set. You can use your teacher email. If your school is not a Google school, then if you just go to gmail.com and set up an account real quick, you can use that to log in. It utilizes Drive, Google Drive, to kind of save all of the videos and save all of your work. So in order to use Drive, you have to have a Google account. So, but it doesn't matter if it's like a school account. It doesn't matter. You can just make up whatever you want for a Gmail, and it'll work just fine. So let's get started. Let's get started on setting up an account. So we're going to go to screencastify.com, and this is where I'm going to switch over to my other tab real quick. You'll have a copy of the slide deck, so they'll kind of give you for reference if you need something to come back to. So we're going to go to screencastify.com. When we go there, you'll see this blue Add to Chrome. It's free button. So we're going to add to Chrome. You have to use Chrome. Sorry, again, it's Google, so you kind of, they're all intertwined with each other at this point. Then you're going to click the Add to Chrome button. And what this is going to do is it's going to add an extension up to your extension bar here in the top right. There we go. So it added the extension into my extension bar. If you want it to stick up there, you just click on the puzzle piece and then hit the little blue pin, and it will pin it to your extension bars up there. So now I have Screencastify up here. Now, mine will automatically do it, but what you have to do is you have to log in to Screencastify before you can do any recordings. So if you hit the little arrow up there, then mine will automatically log me in, but yours will, let me switch back to the slideshow real quick. Yours will give you a sign-in window like this. You just click sign into Google, do your name and password, and you're all set and ready to go. Screencastify, as far as the free version goes, you have unlimited amount of videos. You can make unlimited amount of videos, but they can't be any longer than 5 minutes long. That's the free version of Screencastify. The editing tools are all available to you as part of the free version. And then there's the submit piece of this. You can only do one assignment at a time. But other than that, you have unlimited videos that you can make as long as they're 5 minutes. And edit as well. When you're done editing, you can edit other videos in the editing part of this. Again, it can't be longer than 5 minutes. So I'll pause here for a moment so you can get signed in. If you're playing along, which I encourage you to do, is to kind of work together on this. So I'll pause right here and let you sign in, and then we'll come back and we'll start the recording part. So I'm in the middle of recording right now, which means that I can't really, I have to switch to a different window to be able to show you what it looks like when you record. So, but just for your reference, the way you start it off is you're going to use the arrow up here to click on that, And when you do that, it's going to open up this page of recording options. So this is on the slide deck, so you have it for reference if you need it. I'm going to switch over to my other browser, and it shows me, there it is. And you can see the 5-minute limit on the videos. So we'll come back to the 3 lines right here. We'll come back to that in a little bit. This box right here will take you to the recordings that you've already made. So I've made a couple of recordings here on my other email address. You also have a notifications bell and a settings bell. This is advanced settings. To be honest with you, I've never opened it up once. I used, just kind of a little background here for a second, I use Screencastify basically every day for the last 1.5 years of teaching. I used it when we were in lockdown. I recorded everything for my students, and I recorded last year rather than, we had the option of either kind of putting our remote students on a different program than we were doing in our class or keeping them in the same pace. And I chose to keep my students at the same pace as me. So everything my in-class students did, my remote students did, which required me to use Screencastify pretty much every day. So it's honestly every single day. I never touch the settings button once. So you can play with it if you want to, but just be careful. So that's the top part. Like I said, we'll come back to this part in a second. Then we have the recording options. So you have 3 recording options here. You can record a browser tab when you click it, and I can't show exactly what it would look like right now, but I'll kind of explain it to you as best I can. So if you set up the recording for just the browser tab, what'll happen is that you'll only record the tab that you're on. So if I wanted to record this tab, I would set it to browser tab and then set up tab recording, and it would start to record. And no matter what else I did on my computer, click the different tabs, it wouldn't record anything else. It would only be focused on that one tab that I had recording. It's all it would be. So you could have a tab open that you're recording that has a slideshow or something on it, and then on a separate tab you have your notes, or you have another document or something that you perhaps don't want to be shared with as part of your recording. So that's the browser tab. The desktop tab will record your entire desktop, everything that you do on the desktop. So for instance, I use Minecraft in my science class, and there's a lot of times where I need to record directions for Minecraft, or steps that I want the kids to take, or something like that. So what I would do is I would open Screencastify and I would record my desktop, and then I would close all my windows and open up the application that I wanted to record. In that case, it would be Minecraft. And that application would open on my screen, and it would still be recording my screen. It records everything that happens on your desktop as you do it. So if you're a Mac school and you want to show kids something cool with Keynote, like how to animate or something, and you want to create a video for them to use so they have it later, or if someone's absent, or you can use it for reference, then you could use Screencastify to record your desktop, and then open up the application and it would record what you're doing. Last one is the Webcam Only, which will just do your webcam and only your webcam. It will, I'm not going to click because I'm scared of what's going to happen because I'm using Screencastify on that other browser window, but it'll just record your webcam. So again, last year, towards the end of the year, I wanted to read the book The Martian with students, and but I wanted to be able to have a kind of audio version as well as the textbook, the actual physical book version of it. So I recorded myself reading the book just for my students, but I only did it on the webcam, so it was just a video of me reading. So a lot of students could then, I gave that to every student. That way they had the choice of listening to it and reading along, or just not using it and reading it on their own. So that will just record just you, whatever you have on your webcam, or whatever you're showing your camera at the time. Microphone is microphone, turn it on, turn it off. Embed Webcam, what that will do is it will put a webcam down here at the bottom, so that students can see you as you're doing whatever it is that you're doing. You can move the webcam around your window however you see fit. But it's there. You can turn it on, turn it off as you're recording if you want it there or don't want it there. Enable drawing tools is, I'll show you that's a little bit more in a minute, but you absolutely want the drawing tools on. They're very, very useful. And then the big record button is to record. When you're ready and you've got everything set up, you push record. Now, let's break down the lines first, then we'll hit record. So when you click on the 3 lines up at the top, it gives you some quite a few options here to choose from. The My Recordings page will take you to the My Recordings page, which is this one right here. This will take you to the unlimited version. So it's pretty much basically the pay version of this. When you pay for it, it turns to an accounts button to see what standing your account is in. It is relatively expensive. If you wanted to just do it on your own, it's $50 a year. But if you could convince your entire school that they or whoever your administrator is to get it for the whole school, it's significantly cheaper. So that's and I actually had an email from one of the teacher in our area who mentioned that they had purchased it for their math program, for their math department, and that Screencastify was fantastic to work with. It was super easy to do. They got it done. They had it up and running in a day. So they are very, very helpful people in terms of customer service. The options button will take you to all the options that you have available to you through Screencastify. So there's a drive. You can save where you want your videos saved. Drive is obviously recommended because then you don't fill up your hard drive. You've got notification stuff, the keyboard shortcuts, some settings about recording, and the privacy, and then some advanced pieces. I honestly, like I said, I've never really had a need for any of this. The way it comes default is pretty user-friendly, so I've really never felt a need to change any of the options inside of there. The editor is a pretty robust for a web-based video editor. It's not bad. Oops, get that out of there. Oh, look at that. There's a video. It is, it's not iMovie, but it's fine. It does a good job. We'll get into it a little bit more here in a minute. But one of the great things about the editor piece of this is that you don't necessarily, you have the option of editing any video that you've created or have from someplace else. So you don't need to just be Screencastify in order to edit this. You can drag another video in from someplace else and put it in here. And we'll get into the editor in a few minutes, but that's one of the nice things about that. So that's the editor. And then the other one is the submit, which again, we're not going to really get into, but I'll give you the gist of it. Basically what submit does is submit allows you to create an assignment that you then share. It has a video and maybe some text to it. And then you share that assignment out with your students via a link. And what it'll do is it will open up on their browser, and they can record themselves without having to have the Screencastify Chrome extension on their Chrome. So if your computers are locked down like mine are in my school, and like students can't really put Chrome extensions on, then this is a way for them to still be able to submit videos to you through Screencastify without actually having to put Screencastify on their computer. It's very, very cool. It's pretty neat. It's worth exploring, especially if you have the pay version of Screencastify or you're considering getting it. It's really quite neat. And then there's classroom resources, which is there's the guide to engagement, which is actually it's pretty good. I read it. It's really great. There's videos, podcasts, webinars, and blog posts down here on the bottom. A really great resource for Screencastify kind of PD or more learning. It's great resources on there. Help is help. Switch account would be if you wanted to switch your account. So for instance, I'm logged in under my personal email right now. So if I logged into my old school email, which I have unlimited version of Screencastify, then I could just switch that account over there and sign out and sign out. So let's get back over here real quick, back onto my regular tab. So we've gone through that. Here again is the cheat sheet for the 3 dots. When you're ready and you've done everything you need to do, we hit record. And just for a moment, let's just take a break here and just kind of think about what needs to be done in order for you to be ready to record this. If this is your first attempt at doing a screencast or a screen recording, there are some things you should probably keep in mind. First one is you want to have everything that you need ready to go. So if you're doing a lesson and you have a slide deck that goes with it, you want to have that slide deck available and ready to go. If you have tabs that you need open for your screen recording, then you want to have those tabs ready to go. If you have a resource or you have whatever, you want to make sure that everything is set up, ready to go, and because you don't want the idea is you want to do as little editing as possible, right? Like the editing is a time-consuming piece. So if you can get everything set so that you don't have to do a lot of editing, that saves you time on the back end. I could when I started really getting good with this, I could record, edit, and get out to students in less than 30 minutes for something short. Because you don't want to make it super long. I know this is long, but attention spans are what they are. You could pause this if you need to take a break. But for a student, they may only have 15 minutes because you're trying to flip a class or whatever, and but you know that students won't be able to watch your videos outside of school, so you're going to watch them in your class, and you're going to in-flip instead of a full flip. And everybody watches the video at the beginning, and then you explore, or you apply the learning later towards the rest of the class. You want to make sure all those resources are ready to go. Just my little piece of advice. Once it just saves you time, saves you editing, it makes your life so much easier. So it's totally worth doing. All right. So let's move on and talk about the drawing toolbar, which once you hit record, so I've already hit record because I'm recording right now, you get this little toolbar right here that gives you some kind of useful tools for doing your screen recordings. So what we're going to do is I left this here. This is on the slide deck for you to use as reference, but I wanted it'd be weird to put it in the middle there. So I want to move this up so it's in the center of the screen so that I can show you kind of the basics of how this is set up. So you've got on the left here, you've got the stop button and you've got the pause button, exactly what they are. You have a mouse right here. So you can change what your mouse does. So this is going to be weird because my slide deck is going to go around for a little bit here. So I'll do it up here. So when you are on when you have the mouse button on, you can see how the mouse has got the red circle around it. You can also change it to a focus button so that you can help focus in on certain things, whatever it might be. Classic is just straight up, just the mouse. And then fireworks lets off a little firework when you click your mouse to go to someplace new. That's clicks. I'm going to leave mine on fireworks for now because it's fun. And then we go back. And then there's a pen, which is just that. It's just a drawing tool. There it is. You can change the colors. There you go. Whatever you want. You can clear the screen. If you draw on there, you're like, all right, I'm done. You can clear it if you want to. You also have a rectangle tool, which you can make rectangles just like this. And again, change the colors of those as well. And again, you can clear the screen if you need to clear the screen off when you're done with it. There are also stickers, which are just kind of fun. Right? You get all sorts of different kinds. And they all are. Go 100. Thumbs up all around. And celebration. Again, you can clear the screen if you're done with if you want to. The eraser button is just that. It's an eraser. But if you were in the middle of doing something and you worked all through this and you're like, okay, I'm done. I need to clear the whole screen. Just clear a screen. We'll get rid of all of that. Then you also have the start webcam button, or when it's on, it'll stop the webcam. I think this might work, so let's try it. So we start the webcam. I don't know if it's going to work or not. But anyway, you can see the window that I was talking about a few minutes ago open up down here. And if I don't want it on anymore, I just stop it and off it will go. If this is annoying, like sometimes it gets annoying that it just sits down here in the corner, you can always move it around. And you can use the little arrow here and minimize it out of the way so that it's not in your space any longer. And it's much, much smaller. Notice how when you minimize it, whatever you last clicked on is still there for you to access if you need to. And when you just click it, it will open up just for that piece. And then close it back up again like that. So that's the toolbar. Fantastic little toolbar. It's great. It's very, very helpful. Let's pause here. Let's take a minute and why don't you record a video, because we're going to edit that video here in a few minutes. So why don't we take a break and do some recording, and when you're done with your recording, come on back and we'll go through how to edit it. All right, welcome back. So hopefully you found everything you needed, how to stop it and everything like that. You got your toolbar all figured out. You did a great screen recording. So once you hit stop, you probably noticed that it automatically brought up a new screen. And this screen is where we're going to begin. So we're going to start along the top, and then we're going to work our way. Then we're going to do the bottom, and then we'll talk about what's going on here on the side. So on the top, there's the 3 lines. Those are the exact same 3 lines that you saw on the other side. When you click it, it's just those other things. Here's the title of it. So we got a title here to work with. So we're going to call this Screencastify. I'm actually using the first half of the video that you just watched as part of this. So you have that. You have open an editor, which we'll get to in a few minutes. There's information about the video, and you can throw the whole thing in the trash. Then there's the video piece right here. This is where you see what was going on in the actual recording. So here we are. Here's me jammering on about all sorts of stuff. And you'll notice that there are these little scissors on the ends here. These scissors are the basic editing that you can do inside of this part of the window. There's much more editing that you can do inside the editor, but for this, you get kind of the basics, because let's pretend that I nailed that the first time, and there's no reason for me to go into the middle and edit it, which is absolutely not true. But let's just pretend that for a moment. If I just needed to cut a little bit off the beginning where, I was saying and I clicked my mouse a couple of times and I want to get rid of that, I can just use the scissors and pull it like this, and that will eliminate the first, in this case, 35 seconds. If it's on the other end, same thing. I finished and I went to see side, a big sigh of relief because I was finished recording and I just needed to get that off of there. Then I would just cut it off like that. Now I'm not going to do that because I don't want to ruin this yet. So, but that would be basically what you would do. And then if you did that, you could say save trim, and it would save the trims that you made to your video. And now if that was all the editing you needed to do, that was fantastic. That's awesome. That means you planned really, really well, and you did exactly what you needed to do to get your video right where you need it the first time through. So congratulations on that. If you didn't and you need to edit it, that's okay, because I have to go back and edit everything I do. So we'll get to the editor in a minute after we talk about the stuff on the right-hand side here. So first things first, you have this thing called a watch page, which if you're finished with your recording, but you don't want to download it, and you don't want to you want to keep it as simple as possible. You just want to share a link for students to watch the video because you don't have Drive or the students don't have Drive or whatever, then this is where you would do that. First thing you got to do is change your share settings from private to anyone with the link, and then save it. And then what you do is you copy the link, and we'll go over here to a new tab, and we'll paste it and go. And basically what it does is it just opens up a web browser tab and has the video there for students or whoever to watch your video. So it's great if you if you don't want to download anything, you don't want to take up the space, you just want to have it, it's ready to go. You can just send it off that way using the link. If you want to watch it yourself, you can preview it with the eyeball. But you share the link and then put it in Classroom or send it through AirDrop or whatever you want to do. You can also embed it into these apps that it automatically talks to. Screencastify will link up with your Gmail, Google Classroom, Wakelet, and your Remind app. It will also create a QR code that you can share out with everybody. That'll take them to this video. These sharing apps are fantastic. There's this is all there is. If you hit the little plus, it'll bring a new page. It gives you the choices here of what you can, like the 3 that it will automatically embed itself into, and Gmail and the QR code are automatic. The other thing you have is the number of people that have viewed this. Since I viewed it once, I get a big 1. This is Screencastify's attempt to be more Edpuzzly. So you can add interactive questions to your video, and students will have to answer the question before they can continue on watching your video. So it takes a few minutes. It's going to take mine a few minutes because it's super long. But so let's say that in like 10 seconds, I want to make this quick, so I want to be able to show it. So let's say 3 seconds in, I want to ask you a question to see if you're paying attention. So I'm going to say, what's 3 plus 3? And then I want to see if you're actually still watching this. Otherwise, it'll go silent and you won't be able to see anything. So let's put those answers in there. I'll pick a correct answer, then I'll hit save. Questions created, right? You can add as many questions as you want into your video. So I'm going to go back to my management page, and now I'm going to watch my video. So I'm going to copy the share link just because this is a great way to do it. Or I can hit the eyeball and just go view it. I'm going to paste and go. Oh, my toolbar opened up again. And now when I press play, 3 seconds in, it gives me a question. I can't skip it. I can't do anything else. I can't play it. I can't do anything until I answer the question. Now, question becomes, do you have to answer it right to be able to continue on with the video? And the answer is no. You can click a wrong answer and hit submit, and it will say, oh, you didn't do it correct. You hit continue. The video will continue, which is kind of a bummer, right? But what's cool is if you go back to the interactive questions piece, you've got the share link up here, which you can share or put right into your Google Classroom, or you can do it the way we just did it. You also see the responses. If you put it into your Google Classroom, then the names will automatically show up along with their scores. You can look at it by individual students, right? It was just anonymous viewer because I'm not logged in. But if you were logged in, you'll be able to see their name here in the dropdown. You can also see kind of how they answered by the question. So one person clicked 8. Oops, and that was anonymous viewer number 1, me. So you can see what's how students did here. So you can always go back after you're all done. So this is all on the interactive questions page. Fantastic resource, well worth checking out. I want to remove this question though. So I'm going to click it and I'm going to hit delete and I'm going to say yes, delete it. And now the question is gone. I don't want it in there by accident. I don't want, if you've gotten this far, then I hopefully, and you didn't have to answer 3 plus 3, then you didn't, then I managed to take it out correctly. So the next few down here at the bottom, you can export your video. You can click set it up so that it will upload directly into Edpuzzle. If you like using Edpuzzle better, then there it is. You can upload it to Play Post It. You can export it out to YouTube. Hit more options. That gives you some more choices. You can download the file, or you can export it as an MP4. So for us, extension nerds, the difference between a downloaded file and an export as MP4 files, the download file is like a web viewer file, and the MP4 will open on anything that plays videos. You can also export as a GIF. So if students had Screencastify or you had Screencastify and you wanted to make a GIF, this is a fantastic and pretty easy way to do it. You can export just the audio as an MP3, or if you're an HTML nerd, you can do the embed code in here as well. Excuse me. The last part is the drive. So you can change the settings, the privacy settings here for your drive. So you set it to public. You can copy the drive link, or you can view it in Drive as it stands right now. I'm pretty sure we can click it and see, but I don't think it'll show up because it's still loading. Oh, no, it's going to. Cool. Oh, no, it's not. I didn't think it would. You know how Drive takes forever to load things in there. Eventually, if you clicked on Drive, then this video would show up, but it's a big file, so it's taking a while. Or you can just copy the Drive link and drop the link wherever it is that you want the link to go. So these are all the ways that you can share this, but not the only ways that you can share this. We also have this editor here to be able to edit this more succinctly. So I'm going to click Editor. It's going to ask me if I want to open an editor, and I'm going to say yes, I do. And here's where you get some more options. Again, it's not as robust as something like an iMovie or any of the Adobe products when it comes to screen editing or video editing, but it is pretty good. So right now the audio is loading. Ooh, I get 2 of them. That's weird. And you can kind of see as it works, there's some choices. There's cut, crop, zoom, blur, text, and delete. So when you click on this, those become active links. So let's say that, let's see, I'll actually do some editing here. I had a pause in here somewhere, there it was, that I don't want to keep in. This just right here where there's no sound, that shows me that I had a pause there that I wanted to take, that was my way of reminding myself, hey, you got to make sure you take that out of there. So I can do this. I can click on the video where I want it to be, hit cut, click on the video part here where I want to start, where I want to pick it back up again, and cut, and I can delete this middle section completely out altogether. And now it's gone. So that way you can edit in the middle of things to remove whatever it is that you need to remove. So there's weird little pauses in here. I'll probably kind of take those pauses out as I progress through. So I didn't do that. I want to make sure I undo all this stuff because you're seeing this is the final version. But if that pause is still there, then I decided it was worth it. There's also a crop button, which when you turn on, so like as you can see, when I screen recorded this, it was my entire screen, right? But I don't necessarily need you I don't necessarily want to have my Windows toolbar available for like just sitting there because it takes up space. There's no sense in having it. So I can crop that out and then you can't see it. So now when I say done, that window shrinks, or the toolbar shrinks and it's gone, and I'm just left with this, and that's all. Just a helpful piece of advice. If you're going to do something like that and you don't want to you want to do it before you've cut any pieces up. If you have 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 pieces, your video is already cut into multiple pieces, then when you go to crop it, you have to crop all of them the same. It's kind of a pain in the neck. So if I'm going to do any like big cropping, like I want to change like what's on the screen for the entire video, I crop before I do any of the cutting and deleting part. But that doesn't mean that you can't crop something specific in a specific section. So let's pretend, for instance, that I wanted to crop just a small section. So I'm going to cut. Let's move this over so we can see it a little bit better. There it is. Let's say I want to crop just this part right here. So I want to leave everything else the same. I want to leave all the rest of the video exactly as it is, but I just want to crop this because I don't necessarily need this part here. What I can do is I can just crop just that section. Oops, sorry. There it is. You got to click it first. Click it so it's yellow and then hit the crop. Now I'm only going to crop just this part. So let's say, I don't know, for some reason I wanted to keep my tab open on this side, so I want to make it bigger again. So I hit done. Now when it plays, see how it's zoomed back out again? The cropping is gone. When I come back to the end here and I hit crop, when it goes to the second part, the crop goes away again. So perhaps at the very beginning, when the beginning of the video, when I said, hey, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to switch between tabs, I might have left that piece open for, the toolbar open for you to be able to see what I was doing. Or maybe I didn't. I don't know. I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet because I haven't edited yet. This is some weird fourth wall thing they got going on here. So you can always do that if you desire. So like I'm going to keep it off of there for now, and maybe I'll turn it back on. I'm going to undo it just so it's there because I want it to be original. There's also a zoom feature, which I'll show you. You've already seen this zoom feature because you're already here because I'm going to do it, but I'll do it right now so you can see it, how it works. So I want to zoom in on the website when I type screencastify.com so that you can see what it looked like so you can spell it. Of course, you can also click on the link right there if you want to, but I'm going to type it up there. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to see that I'm going to type. So I'm going to go over to the zoom button and I'm going to pull it up here. I'm going to make it smaller because I don't need to be super big. And I'm going to zoom in right there like that. And you see how there's this little green part down here? That's my zoom. So when I click go, it'll zoom in. The timing of that is actually pretty good for the first time. That's great. But if I needed to make it longer, I could click it and drag it out like this. If I need to make it shorter, I can click it and drag it in like this, right? But it was a pretty good length. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. So I'll just check it again real quick. So screencastify.com. Hit return and it zooms right out. So that works perfectly. That's exactly what I want it to be. So I'm going to leave that there. And you already saw it. The other thing, one of the other tools you have is a blur tab. So for instance, I was working with a teacher the other day. They sent me a video of something that I'd asked them for, and they had student information in the video, which I don't want to share with the rest of the world, obviously, because it's private. So I needed to blur out a big section of the video. So let's pretend for a minute that, I don't know, I thought this stuff down here was distracting to you, right? I didn't want you to have to deal with all the stuff below there. Just it's annoying, right? I don't want you to deal with that. I only want you to have to deal with the top stuff. So I'm going to find where it moves over. So I'm going to stay right here, and I'm going to hit the blur button, and it's going to take and give me a box that blurs like this, like that. And I can make it as big or as small as I want. I could also add another blur on there if I wanted to. So maybe I want to blur, I don't know, this out here for some reason. I just want to make it very specific. So I want to like blur everything out like that. But when I hit play, when I play it to see what it looks like, there I'm playing it. It blurred it out, which is great. But the blur, once the blur ends, everything comes back. So I want to make it last as long as it possibly can. So I'll click it and drag it until it covers up. Might be bigger there. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I'll drag it to there because that's where it kind of ends. Okay, so now when I blur this, it blurs the whole way, just like that. And again, you know, the blur tool is great if you have extra stuff on there that's distracting, like, you know, something flashing or whatever. The students are going to be like, I'm paying attention to that, not to you. Then blur is fantastic. If you get a blur in there and you want to get rid of it, you just click it and hit delete and it will go away. Same with this one. You can hit delete and go away. You can also change the intensity of the blur. So you can make it like, so it's almost not even, so it's like gone, or you can make it so it's kind of transparent and you can see that there's at least something there. Now it looks like there's barely anything, just shadows. When you're ready, you hit done, and now you've got a blur in there. And the blur will end when the blur ends. So blur is a fantastic tool that I've used more often than not. I've used it quite a bit because, again, you get websites. You might be using a website that you're recording, and the entire right side is full of ads, right? You're going to want to see all those ads sitting there, so your students know the last thing you bought on Amazon. So you know, you can blur all that out on the side so that it's not distracting to them. I'm going to get rid of that because I don't need it. And then go to the next part, which is adding text. So I'll just add it right here. Just hit the text button, and you can you have a text box that you can write in. So here it is. So I might write hello to you, and I'll click off of it down here, or you can click done. If you want to edit it some more, you just click on the text box that's right there. You have options in terms of font sizes, bolds and italicizes, underlines, font size, colors, all that kind of stuff. You have multiple text boxes if you want to. You can adjust the text box and change the shape of it like this. There's all sorts of things you can do with it. If you don't want it, just hit delete. Let's say that, there it goes. It'll go away. Once you're in and you hit done and you're ready to go, when it plays, it'll pop up. There it is. You see it right there. And now it'll play through until it runs out, until whatever time it's there for. So there it is. And now it's gone. And if you want to extend it, again, the same thing. Just drag it until you get to the point where you want it to be. Let it go, and it will play that text the entire way through. So I don't want that. Delete. Oop, click it and hit delete, and it will go away. There's also the delete button right here, which if you click it, everything will go away. It'll all delete. If you make a mistake, it's all right. You can always just click out of here and be done with it and go back to the original, back here on this original page, open an editor, and it will open up a fresh copy. Play button is play button. You got your times right here. Zoom in, zoom out is a really great tool for doing really specific fine tuning. So let's say, for instance, that I was having a hard time getting my zoom to be exactly what I wanted it to be. When I zoom in, it gives me a more detailed look at this as far as time is concerned. So I can adjust more specifically, more precisely to be exactly what I want it to be. So let's say I wanted it to start a little bit earlier. I wanted to start right on the Google part. So I can drag this back just a bit to there, for instance, which is barely even an amount of time. But I can then change it And there it is. So I can adjust that and make it whatever I want, and it's more precise. And again, if it's too big, because now like this is super long, right? Like look how long that is. It's so long. If it's you need to get around quicker, you just zoom it back out again, and it shrinks up the time spans to smaller, bigger increments. So you have your entire video just in a smaller space. The other thing, the last part of this, before we talk about exporting, is the Add Media button. What's cool about this, and I kind of alluded to it earlier, is that if you had a video that you created somewhere else and you wanted to kind of embed it into this screen recording that you've done, you can do that. If you go to Add Media, you can either upload it from your computer or go to your drive. We'll talk about title in a minute. So we'll do upload, and let's see what I've got right here. If it'll work. There we go. Oh, I've got an Equate.io training I did, so I'm going to click it. It's going to put the video in here. There it is. And what I can do, let's say I wanted, so let's just pretend that I wanted it to go right there. I wanted this video to fit in between here. So I was saying, hey, you know, blah, 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 blah. You can drag it in there and put it, and now it will go from this to whatever the video was that you did. Hold on. And now it's switched to that. And then when it's done, it'll switch back to what I was doing. So you can embed pieces of video. Like I could edit this now inside of here. If it was too much, I can edit it out and take it apart. I can drag it back down to the end. I can split this new video up into multiple pieces and put it into multiple spots inside of this if I wanted to. It just saves you the hassle of having to make a new video to do something you've already recorded just because you can't get it in editor. No, you can absolutely bring it into editor and do that way. You can do it with anything. If you made a video on, for whatever reason, using a different device or using a different, using an iPad, and you need to edit that video, but you don't want to use iMovie on your iPad because it's kind of wonky. You'd rather do it on your desktop. And you can use Screencastify as a way of editing that if you want to. So you can add media in here, so you can do through your drive or you can upload it. The last piece is a title. So what a title does is exactly that. It is just a title. So Screencastify. So I don't know. I might leave this in here. We'll wait and see. So you can add multiple text boxes. Again, you have all the editing features right here. When you're done, you hit done. And it's hard to see it. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit so that we can see it a little bit more detailed. Drag this back, maybe. There we go. And now you can see, here's my title side. So it starts, there it goes, and then it starts off whatever it was we were doing. You can drag this and make that black section longer if you want to, the dark piece, and then extend the text a little bit further if you need the extra time. You can totally do that if you want to. And it tells you that it's 5 seconds long. You can change the backgrounds of the title too if you want to. You can make it nice and bold, or whatever it is that you're looking for to do. It's cool like that. So I'm not going to leave that there because I don't know. I don't usually put those at the beginning, but you'll already know if I did. So you're all done. You've got all your editing. You've got everything you need. You've done everything you wanted to inside of this. It's ready to go, right? So up here, the blue export button is where you start. Oops, let me move that out of the way. There we go. So you have two choices. If you export it to an MP4, that's exactly what it will do. You'll download a literal MP4 file onto your computer that has everything that you recorded on there. And then do with it as you will. I did that just because it was easier for me to get it onto kids' computers sometimes to do it as an MP4. The other option you have is export it back to that Screencastify page. So let's get it back to where it was. Castify. Okay. So when I hit save, it's going to save it. Granted, I didn't do anything to it, but it takes a few minutes. You can go to the watch page, a link to go to that if you want to. But basically what it's going to do is it's going to bring you back to here after you've done all your editing. It takes you back to this page, which then gives you all the abilities, all of the stuff that we talked about before, the ability to just do a link, to embed it, to add interactive questions, to export to Google Drive. All of those things are here with the newly edited video that you just made. And if you were watching it and you're like, oh, I made a mistake, I messed something up, you can open it back up in Editor again, and it will pop right back in there, and you can edit whatever it is that you needed to edit. So that when it's all done, you have the options back here again to kind of get it out to students in whatever way you feel it works best for your school. Let's see what it's doing. It's taking forever, but that's okay because it doesn't really matter. So all of the editing tools, everything we just talked about, is all in the slide deck, giving you the basics of whatever these things, all the parts are, how editing works, right? The different pieces and what they mean. It's all right here. And then also as well as the sharing part. So it gives you what happens if you export as an MP4 and the Screencastify part of this. And that it takes us to the badging piece of this. So the last part of this is that the Screencastify has set up a badge program. And I say that, and now it's not even here. So I'll click on this and it'll open. Those are links, by the way. The Screencastify badge program has multiple courses that you can choose from. There's editing, screencasting, which is the record piece of it, the submitter, which was the part we kind of touched on real quick but didn't really get into. Students on Screencastify using record, and the basics of how to create a video. They're all broken down into small chunks, 5-6 minutes each. You go through, you do each one. There'll be a pause to take a quiz. You keep going until you're through. They're fantastic. I did them all. They're really, really easy to kind of navigate. They're easy to understand. The person who does them is very very clear, very articulate, very well spoken. Although it looks like they're recording them in a camper, which I find to be entertaining. But it's really great. They're really worth doing, especially if you want to do the submit piece of it, learn more about that. It's absolutely worth the time to do that. Plus you get the little badge, these little badges, so you can put them on your email and send them out to whoever wants them. You can show everybody every time you email somebody that you know how to use Screencastify. And that's it. So thank you very much for paying attention to this. I hope that you take some time, go through and edit. Now that we've gone through the editing piece of this, go through, practice editing. You're not going to break it. Just play with it and see what you can come up with. If you get stuck and you have some questions, please feel free to email me anytime. If you're like, that was too much, I don't know what just happened, then please email me and we'll set up a time. I'll come to you and we can sit down together and go through this individually, just together side by side. If your school will let me in. If not, we can do this via Zoom, no problem. Also on Twitter, please feel free to follow me, please. I post all sorts of cool stuff from the DOE. And if you want to just schedule a meeting, then you're welcome to do that as well. If you click on this link, it will take you to my to a Microsoft Bookings page, which will automatically set up a meeting based on my availability on my calendar. So thank you very much. Again, if I've done this for Screencastify, but if you have any technology needs and integration needs, if you're curious about something, if you have a big idea that you want to kind of talk about and work your way through of technology that you would like to integrate into your class, or you're looking for a technology to integrate into your class because you're doing something, you're like, I wish I had a way to do this, please get in touch. If I don't know the answer, I will find the answer for you, learn whatever it is that you need, and bring it back to you and show you how to use it. It's not a problem at all. So please feel free to reach out for anything technology related. I'm happy to help in whatever way you need. So, and please feel free to share this with anybody else that would be interested in using Screencastify. Thank you so much. Have a great day.